you share some of your thoughts on how you think tech could or should be used for social change? For example, what do you think are responsibilities on sharing data, social media communication, privacy, and encryption on a personal, community-based, or corporate level, if any? And do you think that tech companies have or should have different ideas about social responsibility than other industries?
Yeah, that's a great, very topical question. I personally believe that like putting moral obligations on corporate structures is a little bit weird. Like, I think that's not the right granularity, but getting back to the individual, I think is extremely important. Like I said, no matter what you do in the tech industry, or just with a technology job in general, you are going to get paid well enough to pay off your bills and everything else. So you have the flexibility and potentially the obligation to decide what you want to do with a lot more flexibility than someone who, like, you only have one coal mine in your company, in your county that you could possibly work at. So you have that flexibility, and you have to decide what you want to do with it. You aren't being forced to do things that you think are skeezy. There's this guy who was I think he was at Facebook, and then he ended up starting this company called Cloudera, Jeffrey Converbacher, where he's famous for having said in an interview that the best minds of our generation are trying to make people click on ads. And that's kind of true. Like, a lot of people working in technology, like, I don't want to judge that, that's not evil, but on the other hand, like, it's pretty easy to kind of end up going down that route where you are using your skills not necessarily for evil, but you're using it for kind of no one's forcing you to do that. You have the options. I personally feel like you should find something that you believe is at least not evil and is probably, gives you some meaning, like that you think has some value to the world that's slightly positive. I feel like Evernote isn't, we're not curing cancer, but we are trying to make something that's relatively useful. It's available for free in the world. Like, that is enough for me to feel like it's meaningful. You can pick your own bar, but like I said, the material constraints are gone now for this industry, and you can choose. You have the ability to choose something that has meaning to you.
On the theme of kind of the journey and your journey, your personal journey, of all the people you've met and the situations that have kind of occurred during your career, what's your favorite tech story you can share with us?
Oh boy, that one's pretty broad. I'll give you one. So the tech industry goes through booms and busts. Like, this is very well known. And like, there's a huge bust in 2001, and in 2008 we just launched Evernote. We had this great internet service. We had a few dozen people working on it, and things were really going great. We were kind of running out of funding, but we had this funding round coming in from this big Russian investor that they committed, and they were doing all this due diligence, and everything was going great. But then the global market crashed. They did not have the money to actually pay us what they were obligated to pay us. So we were down to about 1 month left of funding. We had we were very, very close to basically telling everybody they had to go home. We couldn't pay them anymore and turning off the service. Our CEO, Phil, was sitting around in the middle of the night stressing about this, because when you're running a company, you feel responsible for the people that you're working with. And we were down to about 2 or 3 weeks of funding, and you get this random email from an Evernote customer in Sweden that said, "Hey, I'd like your product. I happen to be an investor. Are you taking investments right now?" And he's like, "Yes, we are." And it turned out this guy just loved our product so much, loved our company, and he gave us, I think, $500,000, which got us through a few months until we could get the next round of funding. That was really exciting because we didn't have to fire everybody and sell off the furniture, but also that was a demonstration that building something that was meaningful to people, that has benefits over time that you can't always predict. That person would not have been as excited to give us money if we had been building something that wasn't as meaningful to him. I think most of the folks who end up in tech, you're stop me if this sounds familiar. You're one of the smartest kids in your high school. You kind of like playing some computer games, or maybe you just like building things on computers. And you have the ability to make things out of nothing that didn't exist before. Like that's cool. Like that's where you start out, and then you go to college and you have a lot of things that are available to you. You could get a comparative literature degree. You could get a computer degree, and generally, like if you're good at computers, that is a very straightforward path to go down. Is just get better at computers, and you can get a good job right out of school, and things are straightforward. I like the impact that technology gives today to individuals and to small teams. Like, if I was going to go into civil engineering, like I would love to build the next Bay Bridge. That is a 30-year project, and I would be able to do 0.01% of it, and I would be extremely proud to drive across that bridge when I'm done. But it's unfair, but computer people right now can just affect such change so quickly with such a small team, so many resources. We have so much leverage right now that it's just an unbelievably unique time in the history of humanity of how much impact a small group of people can have.